Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this message brought to you by Friday Night Light Ministries. For more information, check us out on the web at FridayNightLight.us.
We led a middle school ministry, and there's a lot of ones in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Middle school is a tough age for a lot of kids. There's a lot of ones in middle school. And our heart has always been for the one. Because God does leave the 99 to go after the one. The 99 is great. And there's a lot of places that want just the 99. We don't want just the 99. We want the one. Because those ones have a call in their life. Maybe they're a little different. Maybe they're, whatever, not like everybody else. Who cares? Because they're important to God. And if they're important to God, they're important to us. I think Shelly is one of those ones. And God has been relentless and reckless in his pursuit of her. And she's going to share her testimony with us now. Do you need the podium?
Look, dessert. Hey. I got this. No, God's got this. Given a lot. Up here? Okay. I hope not. Set it on my chin. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. A little bit about me is growing up, I wasn't growing up in a Christian environment. Life led me down lots of paths. Started with drinking, smoking dope, smoking cigarettes. When I got out of high school, I went into working at a gas station. I went into working into the bars. Partying every day. I always joked with my friends. I only drank in days that ended in Y. They said, well, that's all of it. It's like, you got it. So every day was a party. When I was working into two bars, I had keys to both bars, so I never had a last call. It was party from morning, noon, and night. All you could ever want. Well, obviously that wasn't getting me anywhere good. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I was probably drinking a little over a fifth of whiskey a day and hangovers after hangovers. And it just wasn't fulfilling. It was really a big bed in the street. And a friend of mine that I was hanging around at the time, she goes, well, I'm changing what I'm doing and going to the church where my family goes. So I started going to church with her, and come about 3 or 4 weeks in, I went up there and I was doing communion. So I went up and I got the elements, and she goes, well, you know, you really can't take those unless you're saved. Just like, oh, well, okay. Well, I'm looking for something different. Well, all right, so I got saved, just so I could take the communion. It's like, hey, that's a good reason to get saved, not because you're going to, you know, die and go to hell. Huh? Hey, yeah, but anyway, laughter is good. So I continued going to church there, and after a few months, they did a baptism. It's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and get baptized. Don't have no problem with it. And the time came to get baptized, and I was talking to God. I was like, God, well, you know, I don't mind getting baptized. I said, but every time I get water in my ears swell shut. Because I got swimmer's ear really bad. So I went in and went down, come up, and this warm, tingling sensation went all through my head. And he healed my ears that day. It was really unexpected. But he just did it that quick. And as I stayed there, I started working in their services in the ministry and helping out where I could. A few years went by, and on my 34th birthday, I had went to my doctor a couple weeks prior, and on my 34th birthday, she called and told me, well, you've got cancer. It's like, well, that's not really a good birthday present. So I ended up calling my folks and told my mom. I said, but you can't really say nothing to nobody. I don't need nobody knowing. And she was asked, real curious, well, why? And I said, well, because, you know, that's my personal business. And with them not being saved, I didn't need them saying it was cancer and having the rest of my family saying, oh, she's going to die. It's like, I got a big enough battle going on. I'm all on my own. I don't need nobody throwing nothing in on it. I only told a very few people the church I was attending. I told the pastor and the elders and a couple of my close friends. So they had me close in prayer. And when the time come and I went in for surgery up in Grand Rapids, I felt God saying, don't worry, I got this. So I went through that storm riding in the palm of his hands with no worries. And I had such a peace that passed all understanding that it was just awesome. I mean, he was there. He showed up and I just rode. Nothing else to do. Then a little time went by and I started losing heart of the church I was at, and I just kept pushing through, and nothing was changing. It just felt like it just kept getting worse and worse. And then one day I just decided, well, I'm done. I can't do this no more. Because if my heart's not in it, I can't do it. So I ended up leaving the church, didn't say nothing to him. I just packed up and I'm out of here. So I moved back down to the area. I was living up in Kalamazoo area at the time. So over the next probably about 11 or 12 years, I just wasted time and put everything basically as far away from my heart that I could, that I ever went through and did, because I didn't want nothing to do with the church, nothing to do with any of it. And then I was talking with a friend of mine, Miss Shannon over there. She's like, well, there's a place that I go to, and it's called the Barn, and all they do out there is just, worship, little fellowship. I thought, well, I can do that. I'll go check it out. So it was back in about the middle of August. God's done a lot of things since then. it's like a complete 180 of where I was going to where I'm headed now. Still don't quite know where that's going to, but hey, I'm along for the ride. Probably it's about May of last year, I went to the doctor and she ended up giving me some medication because I was depressed. Well, it's been probably about 2 to 3 months ago, I quit taking the depression medicine because I got my joy back. I got my smile back. I got my laughter back. And that had been missing for years. It's and I love you guys. You're one big family. And then it was probably about the third week that I was here. I was sitting there trying to figure out, what went wrong when I left before. And I decided, well, you know what? I know where I messed up. I was serving. I was just serving, and that was the wrong thing to do. And I come in that Friday night, and the first thing out of Shane's mouth was, we all have a servant's heart. It's like, oh, great. Well, that throws that theory out the window. So far, so much for my plan. Yes, God's definitely got a sense of humor. And thanks God he's given it to me too. Then I decided, well, I'll volunteer and help do something. So I shot him an email on FNL website, and Kara said, well, hey, you want to clean? It's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. As soon as she texted me back to say that I could help clean, I started getting attacked on my ears. My ears started swelling. So I started praying right away because he's tried that trick before. And I had to constantly remind him, you can't unheal something that God's healed. By the time I drove out here from Benton Harbor, the pain was gone. So the devil will try to steal what God's given you. You just got to stand and keep reminding the devil that it's not going to work. Not today. It's testimony day. So the fun began. And then the next little fun battle was I volunteered to help on Craig Miller. When Craig Miller was here, I volunteered to help with hospitality. When I left here that night, my vehicle ran great. Stopped at the gas station, put gas in, got home, got up the next morning, went out to move it. Nothing. Wouldn't start, wouldn't turn over. And of course, it couldn't be nothing as easy as the battery. And I wasn't going to put a lot of money into it, so I thought, I'll just go get something different. I was planning on doing that probably this spring anyway. And I felt the Holy Ghost saying, no, wait. It's like, well, all right, I'm in the middle of stuff, God, but I'll wait. And then it's like, oh, great, a test of patience. And when I said that to somebody, they go, oh, don't ever ask for patience. It's like, well, sometimes you don't have to ask. You just get put in the situation and you have to wait. So the first week went by and wasn't changing the mind. Nope, still wait. Went about my business, borrowed my folks' car so I could go do the stuff that I was doing. I was helping cook at a church on Wednesdays and then cleaning out here on Thursday, and then coming Friday night. Well, after the second week of that, I was told, well, you know, you can't use the vehicle no more because you're putting a lot of miles on it. It's like, well, you know, okay, that's cool. But I told God, I said, God, that's not going to work for me because I'm just getting out of that and coming back to serve you. And it's like, that's not going to work in my life. So that Saturday morning, I got up and went to run my errands, and I thought, like, I'll just pull in here and check things out. First lot I went to, there wasn't really nothing I was looking for. Pulled into the second lot, and I was just getting ready to leave it, and the salesman caught me. It's like, oh, great. I thought I'd come early enough just to sneak in and sneak out. He showed me a few things and drove a couple, and it's like, that one's nice. And I told him the price range I was looking for, and he come back and said, oh, this is going to be about $285 a month. It's like, no, that's not the price range I gave you. So we test drove something else, and it's like $170 a month. It's like, yeah, that's better. But that vehicle already had 100,000 miles on it. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work. And we're in there discussing it, and he goes, well, I don't really have nothing else on the lot that's in your price range then. It's like, that's good. That's okay. The sales manager goes, well, you know what? Why don't you take her down to the other lot? So we pulled in down there and looked at the few vehicles that they had in the price range. I was like, that's good. And we got out and looked at this Escape. He looked in the window. He's like, man, this one's only got 60,000 miles on it. It's a 2011. It's like, really? So I'm looking at it, and he goes, let me go get the keys for it. So he test drove it. Drove beautiful. And it's like, why don't you take it with you today? And I was like, no, I got errands I got to do, and I got other things on my list to do today. And so they ran numbers, and everything worked out great. It was in the right price range. And they go, let's see where we can get the best loan rate and everything for you. It's like, all right. So I left to go do my errands, and he called within 15 minutes. And I called him back, and I said, I haven't decided yet if I want it. He goes, well, you know, with that kind of miles on it, there's other people that's going to want it real quick. It's like, well, if it's not there when I get back, then it wasn't meant to be mine. And they didn't like that answer. So I thought about it for a little bit and talked to a few people, and it's like, yeah, it's a good deal, take it. It's like, all right. So I went back and told him I'd take it. So within 3 hours, I had a vehicle. It's like, oh, that's good. Well, my life is going to continue. And that's how I ended up getting a vehicle. All God. Supernatural. That's probably about all I have for right now. Huh? Stay tuned. Chapter 2 next year.
One thing you told me, you said, this is probably a couple months ago, you said, everybody at work is like wondering what's wrong with me. I'm walking around with a smile on my face now, and I've been mad and grumpy for 7 years. And now I'm walking around with a smile on my face telling everybody have a great day. See, the Lord heals our hearts and changes us when we let Him, which is awesome, I think. To me, that's just always stuck out. She's also very funny, so you need to find her on Facebook. It's Michelle with 1 L. Benson is her last name. She always is posting some little funny memes, but nonetheless, do we have more songs? Okay. So let's just get back into worship. Thank you, Shelly. I know I was forcing her to step out of her comfort zone doing that, so don't be surprised when I do it to somebody else in the room. And we love you and we appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this message today, be sure to like and subscribe. For more messages or to get plugged in, visit FridayNightLight.us.